In a quiet courtroom, a white judge's routine custody hearing shatters when a little black girl whispers, "Mommy's gone." Her words spark suspicion, leading him to call 911. What unfolds is a chilling conspiracy: child trafficking, corrupt power, a senator's dark secrets. With a black cop and a fierce journalist, he fights to save her, risking all. Truth explodes. Justice teeters watch a gripping tale of courage, betrayal, and an ending that lingers. Dive in now. Judge Henry Whitaker adjusted his robe, the fabric brushing his wrists as he settled behind the bench, the Omaha courthouse's oak-paneled walls creaking under the weight of history, their polished surfaces reflecting the soft, amber glow of brass chandeliers overhead. The air thrummed with the low buzz of a packed gallery, lawyers in pressed suits flipping through thick files, social workers with clipboards tapping pens against their knees, a few reporters scribbling notes in the back row, pencils scratching against paper in a steady rhythm. At 52, Henry was a fixture, white, broad-shouldered, with a slight stoop from years of leaning over case files, graying at the temples. His blue eyes sharp behind wire-rimmed glasses that slipped slightly down his nose. He had earned a reputation for fairness over 15 years in Douglas County's family court, a steady hand in a sea of fractured families. His chambers a sanctuary of old law books, coffee stains, and a worn leather chair where he would retreat after long days. Today's hearing was Case 47-219, Eleni Brooks, 7 Black. Caught in a tug-of-war between her estranged father, James Brooks, 34, a wiry mechanic with a nervous tic in his left eye and grease-stained hands that fidgeted with his tie, and her foster mom, Linda Carter, 42, white, prim, and composed in a beige sweater set, her blonde hair pinned neatly back. Eleni's mother, Tanya Brooks, was absent, vanished, according to the thin file on Henry's desk, 2 months back. Last seen leaving her night shift at Rosie's Diner off 72nd Street. No trace since. Henry tapped his gavel, sharp and steady, silencing the room's hum. "Let's proceed." James's lawyer, Paulson, a slick man in his 40s with gelled hair and a too bright red tie, stood smoothly. "Mr. Brooks seeks full custody, stable job at Jensen's Auto, clean record, ready to provide a home." His voice carried a rehearsed confidence, his hands gesturing with practiced ease as he laid out James's case. Linda's counsel, Hayes, a woman with a tight bun and a clipped tone, countered. "Foster care remains the best option. Mr. Brooks has been inconsistent, absent for months, and the mother's disappearance raises serious concerns about stability." Her eyes flicked to Linda, who sat straight, hands folded in her lap, lips pursed into a thin line, her posture rigid. Henry scribbled notes, routine, dull, custody ping-pong, his pen moving mechanically until he glanced at Eleni, seated between them on a folding chair, small in a faded purple dress that hung loose, her braids loose with a few strands falling free, hands twisting a frayed yellow ribbon she had clutched since arriving at the courthouse that morning. Her social worker, Ms. Evans, 50, graying with a kind but weary face, had noted in her report, "Quiet, withdrawn, asks for mom daily, unanswered." Henry had skimmed it earlier, sipping coffee in chambers, the words tugging faintly, 2 months missing, no report. But custody cases often came with gaps. Now, he studied Eleni, her small frame hunched, eyes darting nervously between James and Linda, the ribbon a lifeline in her grip. He nodded to her. "Eleni, come up. Tell me about your parents." His voice softened, a tone he reserved for kids, honed from years of coaxing truth from scared little witnesses. She shuffled forward, tiny sneakers scuffing the hardwood, climbing the witness chair, its bulk swallowing her slight frame, the wood creaking as she settled, her legs dangling. Her dark eyes darted, hands clutching the ribbon tighter, her voice a whisper barely reaching him. "Daddy's nice sometimes. Brings candy when he comes. Snickers mostly." Henry leaned in, glasses slipping further, softening more. "Good. And what about your mom?" Silence stretched, the gallery holding its breath, a lawyer's pen pausing mid-stroke, Paulson shifting in his seat. Then Eleni slid closer on the chair, her small body trembling, her lips brushing his ear. 2 words, faint and chilling. "Mommy's gone." His pen froze mid-word, spine stiffening, her eyes wide, pleading. A shadow flickering behind them, fear raw and unspoken, her breath warm and quick against his cheek. "Gone where?" he asked, voice low and urgent, his pulse quickening beneath his robe, a cold sweat prickling his neck. She shook her head, mute now, her small frame shivering harder, the ribbon slipping from her fingers to the floor with a soft thud that echoed in the stillness. Suspicion coiled tight, missing mom, no follow-up. Eleni's terror, his gut screamed, "This isn't normal, not a runaway, not a deadbeat." He banged the gavel, harder than intended, the crack echoing off the high ceiling, voice sharp. "Recess, 10 minutes." The gallery murmured, James shifting in his seat, wiping sweat from his brow with a shaky hand, Linda frowning, her composure cracking with a twitch of her mouth, Paulson whispering to Hayes with a furrowed brow, his slick, calm, faltering. Henry retreated to chambers, heart thudding against his ribs, grabbing his phone from the desk, hand shaking as he dialed 911. "Judge Whitaker, courthouse. Missing person, possible foul play, send someone now." The dispatcher's voice crackled through. "On it, officer, en route, 5 minutes." He stared at Eleni's file. Tanya Brooks, 29, black. Last seen August 12th. No missing person report filed, no leads. His fingers tracing her photo. Young, tired, braids like Eleni's, smiling faintly in a diner apron. Her eyes warm but shadowed. Why didn't anyone look? His gut twisted. Something dark lurking beneath the surface, a thread he couldn't yet see. Officer Darnell Jackson arrived, 38, black, stocky with a shaved head, badge glinting on his Navy uniform, eyes sharp and steady as he stepped into chambers, his boots scuffing the worn rug, a faint scent of rain clinging to him from the drizzle outside. "You called Judge?" he asked, voice deep and calm. Henry nodded, voice low, handing over the file. "Girl's mom, missing 2 months, no one's looked into it. She's scared, whispered it like a secret, like she's seen something. Check it, Darnell. Something's off here, bad off." Darnell's jaw tightened, his hand brushing his holster as he flipped through pages. Photo, notes, dates, his voice firm. "No report filed? That's sloppy. Should have been flagged day 1. I'll start at her last known address. Give me everything you've got." Henry slid the folder across, Darnell's eyes scanning, his tone resolute. "I'll dig. Keep Eleni safe till I know more. She's key. Might have seen it go down." Henry nodded, door shutting behind Darnell, mind racing. What did she see? What's she hiding? Darnell hit the precinct, its bullpen buzzing with radios spitting static and clacking keyboards, pulling Tanya's file from a dusty cabinet in the records room, the folder thin and yellowed, edges curling. Last address, a rundown duplex off North 24th. Paint peeling from the siding, windows cracked and taped with duct tape. He drove over, Omaha's north side gritty, potholes jarring his cruiser. Streetlights flickering in the gray afternoon, knocking on doors. Landlord's note scrawled in pencil. Left sudden August, no rent since, skipped out. Neighbors were vague, an old woman in a housecoat peering through curtains. "Saw a van maybe, dark one, late night, headlights off." Her voice shaky as she clutched her walker. A guy in a tank top, smoking on his stoop. "Heard yelling once, woman's voice, then quiet. Didn't see her after. Figured she moved." No missing person report filed, case cold, buried under precinct neglect, a rookie's oversight or worse. Darnell called Henry, voice low over static. "Nothing solid yet. Checking her phone records next, should have been done months ago." He pulled Tanya's cell data. Last ping, August 12th, 10:17 p.m., near a warehouse at 30th and Lake, then dead. Area sketchy. Abandoned lots stretching into shadows. Trafficking rumors swirling among beat cops who had worked the beat for years. Whispers in the locker room. Kids go missing there, vans at night. But Darnell drove it. Warehouse looming, brick crumbling, windows boarded with splintered plywood. A chain-link fence sagging under rust. His flashlight cutting through dusk. finding tire tracks in the dirt, fresh enough to raise his hackles. A candy wrapper, Snickers, Eleni's favorite, caught in the weeds. He called Henry, voice tight. Phone died near here, 30th and Lake. Abandoned spot. Smells like bleach inside when I peeked. Trafficking's been whispered about. Need backup to dig deeper. Henry reconvened court, gallery tense, chairs creaking as people shifted, air thick with anticipation, ordering, child stays in foster care pending investigation, police involved, daily welfare checks by social services. James protested, standing abruptly. She's mine. Why wait on this nonsense? His voice cracked, hands trembling as he tugged his tie loose. Paulson snapped. Unfair delay, Your Honor. No grounds for this. Linda's eyes narrowed, Hayes adding, Foster's secure. Father's unfit. Let's move forward. Henry's glare silenced them, gavel tapping firm. Safety first. No debate. Sit down, all of you. Ilani's whisper echoed. Mommy's gone, driving him late into chambers. Files spread across his desk like a map. Coffee cooling in a chipped mug. Omaha's skyline dimming through the window, streetlights flickering on in the drizzle. He dug Tanya's social worker notes from June. Erratic calls, scared, said they're watching, no follow-up. July. Missed visits, Ilani upset, crying for mom. August. Tanya no-show, case stalled. Why'd they drop it? He cross-checked. 2 other missing moms last year. Foster kids shuffled, cases stalled, his pulse racing. Pattern here, buried deep. Next day, Darnell returned, precinct grit on his boots. Uniform rumpled from a night chasing leads. Voice low. Found something big. Tanya's phone pinged near that warehouse. Then nothing. Area's a ghost town. Abandoned spots. Trafficking rumors I've heard since my rookie days 10 years back. Got a hit. Warehouse owned by Apex Holdings, shell company. Layers deep. Henry's pulse quickened. Trafficking, mind racing. Eleni's fear, Tanya's vanish. A link forming fast. He called Sarah Klein, 35. A fierce journalist at the Omaha World Herald. Red hair, pulled back in a messy bun. Green eyes glinting with a hunter's edge. A pit bull on corruption who had exposed a mayor's kickbacks 2 years back. Her byline, a warning to the crooked. She met him. Ruby's Diner off Dodge. Neon flickering outside. Grease thick in the air. Her pen poised over a notepad. Coffee steaming in a chipped mug. Spill it, Judge. What's cooking? He did. Ilani's whisper. Tanya's disappearance. Warehouse rumors. Her eyes narrowing. Voice sharp. I've heard whispers. Senator Hargrove's tied to shady deals. Kids missing from foster rolls. Apex popping up in old tips from snitches. I'll dig, quiet for now. But this smells huge. Sarah broke into Apex's filings that night. Her apartment a warren of papers, laptop glowing, finding Hargrove's name buried in a subsidiary. Apex Holdings, linked to warehouses citywide. Leases signed through proxies. She tailed a lead, snuck into a county clerk's office after hours, flashlight bouncing off file cabinets, pulling Hargrove's donor lists. Apex execs bankrolling his last campaign, $50,000 chunks. Her piece dropped 2 days later, front page bold. Missing mom. Custody case raises alarms. Omaha stirring. Whispers swelling in coffee shops and barbershops. Folks glancing over shoulders at precinct cars. Darnell tailed leads. Warehouse owned by Apex. Senator Robert Hargrove's name surfacing. 60. White, silver-haired. A political titan, with a mansion in West Omaha, his campaigns touting family values, his voice smooth on TV ads, calm as a preacher. Henry probed. Court records, sealed cases piling on his desk. Finding odd dismissals. 3 foster kids vanished last year. Cases quashed. Hargrove's influence a shadow over clerk's notes. A quiet phone call logged. Senator says drop it, urgent. Darnell raided, warehouse empty, bleach scent stinging his nose as he pried a board loose. Flashlight sweeping, child's shoe, Eleni's size, left in a corner. Yellow ribbon tangled nearby, Snickers wrapper crumpled beside it. His call came, voice grim. They're moving fast, Judge, cleaned it out. But this shoe's hers, ribbon matches, candy too. Snickers, she said. Henry's breath caught. Alani's been there. Ordering, lock it down, get forensics. Pressure built, gallery packed daily. Henry ordering, Alani stays put, Foster monitored, police escort 24/7. Linda bristled, voice tight. She's safe with me, overkill, ridiculous. James silent, Paulson fuming. Bias, stalling, my client's rights trampled. Henry's stare cut a through, voice firm. Law's my guide, sit all of you. Sarah's next story hit. Trafficking ties to power, front page screaming, Senators' shell companies linked to missing kids, Hargrove on TV denying, smooth as silk. Baseless lies, political hit job by radicals. But Darnell found a witness, Maria Gonzalez, 22, Latina, ex-cleaner at Apex, trembling in a safe house, voice low as he recorded. Saw kids, vans, senator there once late, talking cash with a guy in a suit. Said keep it flowing double next time. She fidgeted, hands twisting a tissue, adding, heard a woman scream once. Van took off. Henry's world tilted, conspiracy sprawling, career teetering, expose it or sink. He met Darnell and Sarah, precinct basement, air stale with cigarette ghosts, forming a trio. We break this together, no backing off. Henry allied, Darnell and Sarah relentless, raids widening, Apex cracking under pressure like ice under a hammer. Darnell tailed vans, night stakeout 33rd Street, rain slicking his windshield, wipers thumping, spotting Alani's ribbon in a boarded window of a squat house off Leavenworth, kicking in the door gun drawn. 5 kids huddled in a damp basement, Alani among them, trembling in a corner, purple dress torn at the hem, braids matted with dirt, yellow ribbon clutched tight. Mommy? She whispered, eyes searching Darnell's face, his throat tightening, voice soft. We're looking, kid. We've got you now. You're safe. She clung, small arms tight around his neck, whimpering. They took her, bad men, Van. Black one. Backup swarmed, flashlights cutting dark, kids rescued, traffickers scattering. 2 caught mid-flight tackled in the mud, spilling under cuffs. Apex pays, senators cut big money, millions. Darnell radioed, voice steady. 5 saved, Alani's here, suspects in custody. Tanya's fate loomed, bones found days later. Rural ditch off Highway 6. Skull fractured, ribs cracked. Darnell calling Henry grim. Might be her judge, DNA's rushing, but looks bad too late. Henry sat, head in hands, coffee cold. Failed her, failed Tanya. Eleni's whisper haunting. Mommy's gone. Sarah's expos blue. Senator's trafficking empire. Front page screaming. Hargrove linked to child ring, dozens missing. Omaha reeling. Protests clogging Dodge Street. Justice for Alani. Shut it down, Hargrove indicted. Cronies falling. FBI raiding Apex offices, papers shredded mid-flight. 12 kids saved citywide. Warehouses emptied. Cash piles seized from lockboxes, millions in crisp bills. Court climaxed. Federal hearing, Henry testifying, Roboff, voice steady, in a packed room, gallery overflowing. Ilani's words broke it. Conspiracy's real. Hargrove's at the core. I saw the threads, emails, Apex kids vanishing. Hargrove's lawyer, Ellison, a shark in a gray suit, snarled. Unfounded judge, overreach, tainted case, no jurisdiction. And Henry stood firm. Evidence stacked. Emails from Hargrove to Viper. Next load, 20 unit stocks. Shoe with Alani's DNA. Maria's taped words. Career, crumbling honor intact. Witnesses piled. Maria trembling. Heard him cash talk, saw vans. A cop, Officer Reed, 45 graying flipping. Hargrove paid me, $10,000 hush money. Hargrove broke, voice cracking mid-denial. I didn't, okay, some cash, but not kids. Ash. Gallery gasping, FBI cuffs snapping, his smooth facade shattering. Omaha's air thick with shock, relief rage. Alani saved, Foster freed, James sobbing at the station, hugging her tight. Thank you, Judge, thank you. She's all I got left. Henry quit, robes off, teaching law at Creighton, gray hair longer, Inspiring students in a wood-paneled classroom, chalk dust on his sleeves. Fight for right, always, no matter the cost, dig where it's dark. Omaha shifted. Reform whispers growing. City council meetings packed, citizens shouting. Ilani, with James healing slow, her eyes asking, "What's next?" Henry lectured. Cases open, justice a thread. Hargrove jailed 20 years. Shadows lingering. System bruised, not broken. New tips trickling from students. More kids' docs, heard it. Eleni's voice, "Mommy's gone," echoed Henry's chalk, pausing midboard. Fight unfinished. A dock lead simmering, Omaha's pulse unsteady. Thank you all for watching this video. Please comment and let me know what you think about this story. Please like and subscribe to watch more great content on my channel.